Brad Holmes said in his interview at the owners meeting that Brodric Martin was, to me, what I got from that message is that this is a prove-it year for him. I have a strong inclination that Brodric Martin, it's three things that's going to happen. I'll tell you which one I'm leaning toward. I really got to get there first. Brodric is either A, not going to make the team, B, be cut during the year, or C, next season in 2026, he is no longer a Detroit Lion. We just cut him outright, period. Brad doesn't like to do that, but it's possible. But Brad Holmes, in my opinion, might have admitted defeat when it comes to Brodric Martin. Says he got to step up this year for sure. That's the first time I've heard him criticize Brodric Martin, which in essence is criticizing his own pick, which is something we don't get a lot of. You get it from me, but you don't get it from him. So we're going to have some fun today. I want this guy to succeed. He plays for my team. But we're going to look at the picks that were taken after Brodric Martin. Brodric Martin was drafted 96 overall in 2023. The Detroit Lions were sitting at pick 122. We're going to look at the picks that were taken in between where the Detroit Lions were going to pick and where they traded up to get Brodric. Is there anybody that we would have taken other than Brodric Martin? We already know that the Detroit Lions do not draft for need. They draft BPA, which we've already established. I hate that. What if all you best player available is always a punter? Or it's always an offensive lineman. It's always a guard. Are you just going to be full guards? I mean, what are we talking about? That's why I don't buy that. But let's take a look. And there's two questions I want you to ask yourself while we're doing this. One, would Brodric Martin, do you think, because you don't know this, do you think that he would have still been there at 122? And is there anybody from in between him being picked and where the Detroit Lions were going to pick that you would have taken instead? All right. We're going to have some fun. We're going to give this young man a chance. All right, so let's go to ESPN, and we're going to look at where Brodric was taken. Now, don't forget, the Lions gave up a 4th-round pick and 2 5th-round picks to come up and take Brodric Martin. After him, we're going to take Ricky Stromberg was taken. This guy right here, Jake Moody, Trey Tucker, Cameron Latu, Mekhi Blackman. That was the end of the 3rd round. Now, we're going to go to round number 4 and look and see. Nick Saldiveri, Bennett, Kylie Ringo. I remember that this guy, they were talking about, he could have went in the 1st round maybe. Blake Freeland, Jake Andrews, Anthony Bradford, Dylan Horton. This guy here, DeJuan Jones, Chad Reeland, Clark Phillips, Chandler Roshan Johnson, Kobe Wooden. We got City So, Breeden Daniels, Connor. We've got Carter. And here we've got Ventrell Miller. Now, I can't say that any of these guys jump off the page. I would be lying if I said I was into other teams like that. So I don't know. I can't tell you that. But what I can tell you, beyond a shadow of a doubt, in my honest opinion, that Brodric Martin would have been sitting there at 122. What do you guys think? Out of this list here, do you really believe that Brodric Martin would have been taken in between pick 96 and 122? I don't think so. I think that Brodric Martin was a reach, and I think Brad Holmes knows this. And I know y'all hate me. It's okay, man. I would much rather be respected by a few than loved by many. And if I'm loved for the wrong reasons. Brodric Martin was a reach. He was the wrong pick. And Brad Holmes, in my opinion, is now starting to own up to that. Do I think he saw it long before? I do. If you trade up to get a guy at 96 and he's a project, I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing? Lori says, I thought this was over. It's never over. It's never over. Mahogany will take Brodric Martin's place. Many draft picks have been duds. Even number 1 picks. Brodric's pick is another one. Steve, and that's okay. So what is my issue with the Brodric Martin pick? It's the same issue it's always been. I want you to put in the comment section, who was the edge rusher opposite Aiden Hutchinson in the game against the San Francisco 49ers for the NFC Championship? Who was the edge rusher opposite Aiden for the NFC Championship game in 2023? While we wait on that answer, my issue with the Brodric Martin pick is not the fact that he was a project. It's the fact that in a year that we obviously needed a pass rusher, and we still need a pass rusher, we took a project in which we traded up for that project. And let's just say we have a 4th round pick and we actually keep those picks and we take a 4th rounder, we take 2 5th rounders. I'm almost certain that 2 of those 3 picks would have made the team, if not all 3, and at least 2 of them would have made a bigger impact than Brodric Martin has made in the 2 seasons he's been on this team. Maybe one of them is a 4th round draft pick edge rusher that seals the deal against the San Francisco 49ers in 2023. That's how I feel. That's what my issue is with Brodric Martin. That's what my issue is with the pick. The fact that he was not best player available. And the Detroit Lions, you can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't say you take BPA, you trade up for a guy that obviously is not BPA. You give up 3 picks for this dude, 2 if you count the pick. And he's obviously not best player available because he doesn't play. How can you be BPA and you don't play? That's a bar right there. Put that on the shirt. Fave says James Houston. It was his first game back from injury. John Kaminsky, I agree. Okay, Gray Lion says John Kaminsky. I thought it was Romeo Okwara. We still had Charles Harris in 2023, didn't we? What's up, MP? So y'all was, Fave says James Houston. Gray Lion says John Kaminsky. Who was it? Who was it? Let's find out. Let's find out. Detroit Lions 2023 roster. Anybody else? Okay, so Kaminsky said, Fave said Kaminsky probably started. All right, you know what? I know exactly what to do. We're going to go to scoreboard. We're going to go to the year of 2023. We're going to go to the conference championship, and we're going to see who was the starting edge rusher opposite Aiden Hutchinson. I'm glad I remembered to do this. Man, even looking at this score breaks my heart. It hurts, man. So, okay, MP, the question is this. We're talking about Brodric Martin and the fact that Brad Holmes, it appears to me, kind of admitted defeat during the owners' meeting about Brodric, saying that he got to step up. And I said that 3 things would happen. Brodric would either not be on the team to start the season, be cut in the middle of the season, or not make the roster for 2026. So, with that being the case, the Lions gave up a 4th rounder and 2 5th rounders for a guy. We went over who was drafted in between Brodric at 96 and 122. If there's anybody there we would have taken outside of Brodric, and do you think Brodric would have still been there? I think he would have. So, with that being said, we needed an edge rusher. At least I think we did, because the ones we had weren't about anything. Who was the starting edge rusher during the NFC Championship game opposite Aiden Hutchinson? James Houston did play in the NFC Championship game, but he wasn't the starter. He had limited snaps and 1 QB hit pretty much. It was definitely not Charles Healthy Scratch Harris. Okay, well, we got to pull it up. Let's see. All right, so let's scroll down. I've got it pulled up on ESPN.com. Thankfully, they have all this stuff archived. We're going to go down to defense. Let's go down to defense. Who was the starting edge rusher? Romeo Okwara had to be the starter. Josh Paschal, Aiden Hutchinson, dog. Romeo, I take pictures, Okwara. So when you look at and you understand my frustration about a guy that we gave up a 4th rounder and 2 5th round picks for a dude who had 0 impact on our team, in a time that we obviously needed somebody. There's no way that Brad thought that these guys were enough. There's no way. There's no way. Romeo Okwara, which wound up being his last year in the NFL, had 2 sacks on the season. And how many during? He had 2 sacks in the season. There's no way. So now, ladies and gentlemen, I hope I can put to rest what my problem is. All I do is follow the numbers. And the numbers say that Brad does not value the pass rush like you may want him to. Maybe you're fine. I'm not. And when you draft up for a guy that you give up essentially a 4th round pick, 2 5th round picks, any number of those players could have made a bigger impact than both Romeo Okwara and Brodric Martin. You have to say it was a bad move. And I think that Brad Holmes admitted that when he was asked specifically about Brodric Martin. I don't see how you can look through the numbers and give any type of validity to Brodric Martin being the pick and the lack of properly addressing the D-line. That's crazy. I try to block this game out of my memory because it's that painful to think that we were going to a Super Bowl. And I don't want to hear about Josh Reynolds. I don't want to hear if you put it on Josh Reynolds, you put it on Jahmyr Gibbs. The one man you can't put it on is Jared Goff. If you're going to put it on Jahmyr Gibbs and Josh Reynolds, they got to be both accountable. It's a lot of accountability in that game. But the one thing that has been lacking since Brad Holmes took over as general manager is the lack of a proper pass rush. I have to include the word proper because if I don't, it gets lost in translation. The lack of a proper pass rush. And if we look at it again, our pass rush, we had Romeo Okwara, John Kaminsky, Josh Pascal, Levi Onwuzurike. Only one of those players, well, John didn't play last year. I don't understand the disconnect between me, what I'm saying, and what the numbers show. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think Brodric Martin, what do you think Brad was saying about Brodric at the league meeting? Do you think Brodric will be on the team in 2026? Do you think he was a reach? All of these are separate questions. Do you think he would have been there between 97 or 96 and 122? And finally, do you think that Brad Holmes addresses the pass rush properly before the season begins? This channel is made possible by viewers, subscribers, and members just like you. It's because of your support I get to do what I do. You could be anywhere else on YouTube, but you choose to rock with me. You guys are awesome. Take care of yourself and each other. And as always, go Lions.